Hey, Thrive Out listeners, Lou Diamond here. So in the spirit of truly thriving loud, former guest on this program, Brant Pinvidic, and his family are currently on an epic cross-country RV adventure, touring all 48 states, looking for the most interesting people, the most inspiring places, and the most fun and exciting adventures. And Brant has been documenting the entire trip on social media, whether a vlog or blog, whatever it might be. You'll get an opportunity to see every place they've been. So when they arrived to the New York City area, I took it upon myself to make sure I met up with them, brought them a dozen bagels, and sat down to chat not with Brant this time, but with Briana and Braden, two of his kids, who are experiencing the trip, and we wanted to hear what's going on behind the scenes. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this fun conversation with the Pinvidic family touring America here on Thrive Loud.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have been to the Great Wall of China. I have seen the pyramids of Egypt. I even witnessed a grown man satisfy a camel. But never in all my years as a sportscaster have I witnessed something as improbable, as impossible as what we've witnessed here today. It's Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond.
It's time to take an inside look at those that are taking their lives, their businesses, and their passions to the next level. Get ready to thrive loud with Lou Diamond.
Welcome to a special episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond. Oh, this is going to be different. We are on location, and because of conditions that this world has been in over the last year, being on location has almost been impossible. But if you have a story that you want to capture and you want to go find someone, you go to them. And that's what I did. Thrive Loud listeners, you're probably familiar with a guest we've had on the program by the name of Brant Pinvidic. Last name hard to say, but quality individual who's written the book, The 3-Minute Rule, involved in some TV show called The Biggest Loser and a whole bunch of other things. And he's been literally traveling around the country with his family. And I did not want to have him on the program today. I wanted his family on the program here today. So today we have the much better looking and much more vibrant and in person with very cool hats, I might add, by the way, Brayden and Briana Pinvidic. How are you today?
We're doing very good. I am Brayden.
No, I'm Braden. I'm the real Braden. I'm Dirty Dan. I know. I like that you noticed my hat. It is a very legendary hat. I got it in New Mexico, right? Mm-hmm. And every single time I've worn it out in public, somebody's complimented the hat. Like, just the hat is like, oh, I love your hat.
We'll take a picture of it. It's pink.
I love this hat.
Gotcha. So,
because like everywhere I go, mainly in restaurants, a waiter will stop what they're doing and be like, oh, nice hat, by the way. And except for like last night when we were in New York, the waiter didn't compliment me. I was like, oh my God, the streak's ruined. And as we're leaving the subway to walk back to our RV, some random guy on the street stopped me and was like, I love your hat. And I was like, the streak is repaired.
All right, so that was Brayden, not Briana, for all the listeners out there. Now, before we leave you there, how old are you, Brayden?
I am 15.
15. He's very tall, by the way. How tall are you?
I am 6'3", almost 200 pounds.
Wow.
I'm a large lad, taller than Brant.
Yes, well, we proved that. Yes.
I'm the man of the house.
And Briana, how old are you?
I'm 17.
17. Okay.
I am not 6'3".
You are. All right, so 3 months ago, well, let's rewind before 3 months ago. At what point did the idea come about that you guys were going to sell your house, hop into an RV, and travel around the country?
So it's great. So we were in a Jeep Caravan off-roading in the desert of California. And surprisingly low energy as we're driving over the hills and stuff. So we're just having a conversation like you do. And it came about that we need to go do something. We've been in lockdown for a year and that just can't stand. We can't do this anymore. So I was talking about following NASCAR, you know, like the drivers do. Because we love doing the infield at NASCAR. That's where the RV idea came in.
Okay.
Because when you rent the RV in the middle of the infield at NASCAR, it's the nicest people you will ever meet.
Very true.
And they're having the best time of their life, and you don't want to leave, but you have to. So we were talking about that. Turns out these NASCAR guys are insane. They don't follow like a pattern. It's not like a straight route. It's like down here, then over there, then up there, then back down there, and it's like there's no way you could follow them. They're maniacs. But then Brayden mentioned something which he wants to say.
I love sibling. Like, give me the microphone.
Like,
is what you want to say. Yes.
So basically, in the car, our dad's like, we gotta do something. We gotta do like anything. We've been locked down. And I was just like, when I'm older and I can drive and stuff, I'd love to go on like a road trip with my friends and go see all the states. And our dad was just like, let's do that. And I was just like, are you guys my friends now? I was like, what's happening here? Not really. But I mean, it was just a random idea. It's like, hey, what if we do that? And then it slowly started to evolve from like, why would we do it to why wouldn't we? Because we had just sold our house because the house market was crazy because people were trying to leave LA because of COVID and they thought they could get away by going to the countryside, which was kind of stupid. But so house market was absolutely insane. So we managed to sell the house. And, we bought a new house that we were actually in the middle of renovating.
Right.
As we
social
bought our
media
house.
Followers who follow Brant
Yes.
would have seen this, breaking down kitchens, knocking stuff
Yes,
down.
I did not have a floor in my room for about 2 weeks. That was interesting. And so we're like, well, we don't have to really stay in LA because I'm not in school. Brianna's not in school because it's all online. So why don't we just go? We don't have many animals anymore because most of them stayed with the house, and we can't really do anything with our cats, so let's just pack up and leave for a while, come back before school starts.
Okay, so I love the idea you guys were involved in the decision. Was everybody on board?
Absolutely not, no.
Okay, more details.
Well, so our mom was just like, are you guys crazy or something? Like, she was not for it. And our older brother was just like, that's stupid. All my life I've been doing crazy adventures with Dad. I just want a break. I'm 20. It's been 2 years. I've been able to say no to a few adventures, which is kind of nice. I don't want to go for 6 months on an RV. That's the longest trip we've ever done. Why would I want to do that? And so he is actually meeting us in Boston for a few weeks until July 4th, which is very interesting. But he wasn't on board. Our mom wasn't on board. And we're just like, screw you guys. We don't need you anyways.
Okay, you were on board.
It's odd, though, because it started off as, oh, that'd be cool to do. And after about 3 days, when he's still talking about it, I'm like, oh my God, we're actually going to end up doing this. And so I had my doubts, but then I remembered a quote from Game of Thrones, which I don't watch. It was,
But you knew a quote from it.
I do know a quote from it. It was, most people live and die in the same corner of the world where they were born. And as soon as I remembered that, I was like, let's go. I'm out of here.
All right, so very cool perspective. Now, some people will just get an RV. Some people will figure out a plan. I want to talk about two things before we talk about this RV, which we're in right now.
Of course.
I want to understand the plan. Who helped map out this route that you guys have been on since you left California?
That guy over there.
That guy over there will be Brant.
Mr. Branty.
We'll bring him in at the end here. Okay.
Hopefully not. We don't want him. We don't want him here.
So mapped out state by state, location by location?
Somewhat. It was like a general idea. It's like, okay, we'll go to this state and then this state. Like we have the route, and we have generally like, okay, we want to be in this area of the state. And we haven't really stayed exactly that schedule because it's like, oh, we're going to go to like we're going to go to this town in Florida, but we actually went to the next town over, which is still the same general area. But we've been pretty good, and we're only spending about 3 days in every stop.
Okay.
And like a few stops in each state, depending on how big it is. So we're really like skipping through.
Gotcha. Any more to add to that?
Not really. We did switch up the plan a little bit to go a little more inland right at Tennessee.
Right.
And that was really cool. Definitely a lot more fun than just sticking on the coast the entire way up.
Okay.
The East Coast, yeah. So there's a little bit of that.
So now let's talk about the RV itself. This is not your average RV, okay? This is one heck of a very cool living space, right? So
it is about 45 feet, because our house was probably like 1,500 square feet. Do you think? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. How big was it?
You had a bigger house. You had animals at your house, if I remember that.
A couple thousand square feet. 7,000
Only
feet.
7,000 square
So you had a
feet.
very big house.
That's just a joke because I never knew, so I used to guess.
You've basically crunched it down into the size, and this is fitting because we are recording this just outside of New York City. This is about the size of a really nice apartment. A really nice apartment. Almost like
Really
a
nice
two-bedroom
apartment.
in New York City.
Exactly.
That's about right. On wheels.
So we're going basically from 7,000 square feet to like 4,000 or 5,000 square feet from our next house, and then
it's
into
way
an
less than
RV.
that. What's a square
I don't
foot?
know. I'm bad with square feet. Okay, get off my case.
What's this? You can-
This is like 520.
520 square. No, I'm talking about the new house.
No,
No,
4,500.
but this RV, okay.
This
so
RV is
it's 500.
about
This is like a studio
500.
apartment, by the way.
So
This
we're
is
like,
well laid out.
okay, if we're going to an RV, we at least got to get the biggest RV. Like, come on, we can't do that. And frankly, good idea. Good idea.
Okay, so what's it like living in here?
It is surprisingly easy.
Okay.
Thing is, you don't need as much space as you think, and you don't need as much things as you think. That is the takeaway of the trip. It's like, I have a bed and a chair,
Okay.
and so it's pretty much all you need, because we're leaving every day to go do something. So really the only thing you needed was a place to sleep and like a really nice kitchen. And so that was, check that off the list, and there we go.
Listeners, we'll put it in the yard, and we'll put the links to Brant's feed where he's providing all this. Here's where I'm actually interested. Okay, you said you're going away. We are now recording this in June. You guys have been on the road for 3 months. You got another 3 months to go, right, until you've covered all 48 states. We've been through how many?
We've been through 20, but so the numbers don't quite add up because of Texas and Florida.
That's true, right?
Texas is really big. We spent too long in Texas. No, we didn't. I love Texas. And then we went all the way down Florida and all the way back up. So those added like 2-3 weeks onto our time.
To the people listening who have families, being a family trip, this is awesome. You get to move around and go where you need to. You guys have friends, though. You left them at home. Have you been communicating with your friends? You miss your friends? No big deal. I'm on a much better trip, and they're missing out.
Well, Brianna had about 2 friends back home because she, long story short, she got like headaches for a while, so she never went to school, like before COVID, actually. So she didn't talk to many people, and I had like left my friend group for various reasons. So I also had less in-person friends and a lot more like online friends.
Gotcha.
And so I'm like, forget those guys. Don't really like them. I'm gonna go. I can actually go meet some of my online friends on the trip, which is pretty cool. So. And also, one thing that I will note, it might be a lot harder for other people to be going on this trip because we get along really well, surprisingly well, especially me and Brianna, because we have a lot in common and same sense of humor, all that jazz. So it's not hard at all to do the trip together.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's definitely not lonely.
Right.
It's like taking your best friend on the trip. It's like, hey, let's go do this. It's like, does Brianna want to go? No, then I'm not going either. Sort of, that's how he is. Sometimes.
So for those that are viewing the vacation that you guys are on, or this journey that you're on, because it's definitely not a vacation because you're doing a lot of work. We're going to get to that in a minute. This is an interesting piece. It's like the ultimate in social media. I don't want to say FOMO. The places you guys are going have been incredible. We'll talk about some of your favorites in a minute. But we don't always get to see what's on the other side. What's happening during the other crazy stuff during your travel trips. I want to hear some of the problems, the issues, the challenges, oh God, I can't believe we have to deal with this.
Well, there's been a semi-decent deal of damage to our vehicles. We've like popped a tire on the RV, which turned out to be not bad. Our tailgate for our giant monster of a truck broke. Like the hinges broke off. We spent a good 3 weeks trying to fix that. Got it to a welder. Didn't work. We had to like fix it ourselves over like the course of like 6 days. It was quite a hassle. And actually, when we were coming here into New York, we were about 1/8 of an inch from hitting a car, which would have been horrible. Like we were close to hitting a car with the trailer.
I think you guys would win if you.
We'd win. We'd win.
You'd win.
That's the thing. Like if I was in a normal car driving, which I'm going to be learning to drive, I'd be scared of other cars. In that car, if a car hits me, that car's gone.
Right.
The truck, perfectly fine. Car hit me, gone, reduced to atoms. Like it was just no chance for it. So I'm fine either way.
Yeah. What happened was we made a corner. There's a parked car on the side of the road because it's New York. And the trailer turns a little tighter than you'd expect. And so we noticed just in time so that the trailer was like almost touching the car, and we were like, we had to back up, and there was a bus on the other side of the road. It was chaos.
You've been to 20 different states. You've been to some unbelievable places around the country. You've gotten to meet some great people. How much fun has it been going around, just randomly having dinner, having someone randomly show up, bring you bagels or whatever it's been, to meet all these people around the country? It's
absolutely amazing. This is the best part. We debated doing Airbnbs all across the country because Dad's got like a deal with them or whatever. I don't know the details. And then I was like, but then you're just doing the same thing in a different place.
Right.
Why don't we be with the people we want to be with? Because these people, these full-time RVers are probably some of the most interesting and nice people you'll ever meet. And so I want to be with them. I want to be among them and have fun with them.
And I mean, just like meeting people was part of like the whole spirit of the trip. Besides seeing all the states, doing all the cool things, was also meeting all the cool people. Because one of the, basically the main reason why we love going to NASCAR so much is just the people in NASCAR, for example, are so cool. You could show up without an RV, without food, without money, and people would, like, they'd give you food, they'd give you a place to stay. They don't care. They love everybody, and they're so kind.
It's the ultimate in tailgating, is what I've
Yeah,
actually
exactly.
heard. Because when you go to a tailgate at a football game, all of a sudden people are giving you food.
Exactly.
It's very
Exactly.
nice
That's
and
like
open.
it, but
Right.
like on a larger scale.
Yeah.
Because everybody's doing it, and everybody has these giant RVs. And it's kind of the same in RV parks. A little bit less extreme, but people are still crazy nice. And we love it. We love it.
What's been the biggest surprise to both of you before this trip began? Since the trip began, excuse me.
I think part of it is how easy it was. Like, you're thinking we're going to move from a big house into a small RV, and, we're going to be moving so quickly, and it's going to be, really difficult. But turns out it's really easy. You have a pattern, and you're doing new things every day, so you kind of feel like you're not moving very quickly because there's so much in so little time that it kind of balances out.
My biggest surprise, and probably my biggest lesson taken away from this trip, is that America is nothing like you see online and nothing like you see in the news. Because, like, the way that people are so angry at each other online, you'd expect people to be angry at each other in person. Like, you go down the street and somebody's going to yell at you for something. But in reality, nobody even thinks about politics here. Not even close. And, like, COVID, you'd expect it to be like a crazy thing. In Texas and in Florida, it's like it never happened.
I don't think they
It's
had
insane.
COVID there, just to be
It's
clear.
insane. It's like there's no lockdown, no mask mandates,
Right.
nobody's thinking about COVID. And it's just like, what? Because, we come from California. It's like one of the most locked down states. So it was like, blew my mind how different it is than what you think it is.
One of the things that your dad covered in his feed, which was pretty interesting, was he talked about that wherever you guys go, you guys are seeing help wanted signs. Like, have you guys noticed that? Like,
That is,
what have
yeah,
you
it's
seen
weird.
around the country.
Well,
things.
Yeah, it's just a lot of like help wanted because like the government is incentivizing unemployment. So like, why would you go to work when you can just chill at home? And so it's like, we don't have enough people to serve, so we're gonna have to go low capacity, or like we need more hires. And just about like every single state that isn't like in a giant huge city, every single stop, every single road, there's just help wanted signs at every place because they need help.
If you wanted a job, you could go get one tomorrow. They'd be ecstatic to have you show up and be like, hey, can I have a job? They wouldn't ask you any questions. You could skip the interview, not show up, and they'd still give you the job. They're that desperate. It's kind of amazing and kind of sad. It's like you wanna raise the minimum wage, pay people not to work. They'll get desperate.
Exactly. The perspective you guys have had, you've had some incredibly fun trips, fun times, some pretty bad days. Okay, I want to hear. You guys recently shared what your favorite states were. I want to hear what your favorite day was, each of you.
You
So
wanna
far,
go first?
to this point.
So, because you've been following our dad's Instagram. So my
I
favorite
feel like
spot.
a stalker, by the way. I really do. I'm like,
Well,
watching
it's easier for us.
yeah.
So anybody who's listening and who doesn't follow our father, you should absolutely, and you get to keep updated with the trip. And we're also working on a podcast ourselves for each of the states, which you might want to check out later whenever it comes
Alright.
out. So my favorite state by far is Tennessee. I just love Tennessee. Specifically, there's this one town called Pigeon Forge. It's right outside of Knoxville, and it's like you have this place called Dollywood or something, and it's like basically like Hollywood themed around Dolly Parton.
Yep.
But that also has a bunch of like huge, crazy outdoor, stupid things that you can just do for fun, like just chilling inside Pigeon Forge. It's like a really touristy place, but instead of like sightseeing and roller coasters or whatever, it's just outdoor cool things. Like we went ziplining. You ever seen those giant hamster balls?
Yes.
We went in those and then tumbled down a hill. That was so much fun. We went indoor snow tubing, went on a giant alpine coaster, and I mean, it was just...
And you went shopping for knives, as I understand it. Okay, I saw that.
That wasn't the same day, because like all those 4 things,
Okay.
but then the same day, it was probably the best day of the trip. One of the best days of my life. I loved it so much. I'm in love with Tennessee, love Pigeon Forge. There was this knife store, Smoky Mountain Knife Works. There was 2 floors to this knife store, world's largest. First floor, any type of blade you can imagine, and there was just so much, like any type of sword, any type of knife, everything. The second floor, there was a relic room, like anything from like World War II or the Civil War. They had those there. You could buy them.
Wow.
There was taxidermy area, and there was a gun part in the knife store, and I was just like, that's a bit weird. And as we're looking at, one might think would be a war crime what those guns looked like on that wall. It was insane. I was like, are those civilian weapons? And just casually, there's just a clearance cardboard box to my right. I look down, pick it up, 30-round AK-47 magazine, which, by the way, is super illegal in California because you can't get a magazine over 10 rounds. So we looked at it and we're like, this is a gift from God. And it was so weird because it's a knife store. They had a river on the second floor. That's how big the knife store was. It was insane.
Listeners need to know, if you want to know, I think you take after your dad. I'm just taking a guess. Talkative, keep chatting.
A little bit, yep.
Okay. Give her the mic. Your favorite day?
My favorite day was in Louisiana. A bit of a long way outside of New Orleans, out in the swamps. I mean, in the swamps. We met up this guy. He was famous on TikTok for doing crawfish boils.
This is the cracker.
Stale cracker, yeah.
Yes.
We did a crawfish boil with him. We went out to his house, and we did a crawfish boil with him. And the most amazing thing with that was all the neighbors and all the family and all the friends, they come over. And for this crawfish boil, they don't know us. Everyone here knows each other. We are the strangers. And they'll just casually mention, oh, by the way, this is Brant and his kids. And they go, hi. And that's it. And you're part of the family now.
Yeah.
And it was just so much fun. And that's all we did. We ate crawfish and we talked. And it was such a magical evening.
The day that you could have lived without. Has there been a bad day? Let's ask it now.
More or less. Okay. See, the thing is, the worst sort of experiences have been like maybe in Mississippi because it rained like crazy the whole time. We didn't get to do anything. Okay. It's not really a bad experience. It's just no experience,
Gotcha.
Which is sad. And then Delaware was like bad, but in a funny way.
Delaware, there is not much to do in Delaware.
Yeah.
I'm just being clear.
But it's such a great story now, so you can't really say it's a bad experience.
Make it clear, the reason that you guys are here on the show is because of Delaware. Because you guys actually got into an argument about what you guys can do, and I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah,
so.
And the thing is, we never really had a bad day, because it's like either we're going out and doing something really cool, which is instantly a good day, or we're here relaxing in the RV, which is like, it's like a break from all the action, which is also a really good day. We've had some bad experiences, like whenever we drive in Pennsylvania, by far worst roads we've ever seen. It was nauseating how bad things were.
I'm laughing because Brant is nodding in agreement in the background.
Just thinking of those roads are making Brant sick. Like it was kind of upsetting.
This was
and
outside
also
Philly. Like
this was outside of Philly, and just the roads in Pennsylvania in general. They were never straight. It was just like slight turns.
I'm just feeling bad for you guys because I'm doing some math. There's no
crazy
way in the world you're gonna not have to go back through Pennsylvania.
Yep, that is true.
Back.
That is
you're
true.
Need to root back as you go back
because our dad he thought we wouldn't have to, and I was just like, Dad, have you looked at a map recently? We have to, and he's just like, no. But also another bad thing was Chattanooga, which is like just outside of what was it, Nashville? Right. Also bad roads, horrible traffic. We almost went under a bridge that was too small. We almost lost like the top half of our RV. We weren't very happy. That's when we popped the tire which wasn't that bad. But, just bad experiences, not bad days.
I like it. We do something on this program that I think you guys will like. We do this thing called the speed round. I'm going to ask you something, and I want the first thing that comes to your mind, and I'll let you pass back and forth. It'll be like you do one, then you do that one, and do one, and you pass it back, like ping-ponging, so to speak.
Absolutely.
These are things that they're all related to this trip, and I'm going to ask the question, so everything has to do with specifically your experience that you've been going through right here, okay? And I think the easiest way to do this is just start off with the basics. What was your favorite state?
Alabama.
Tennessee.
Okay. What was your favorite food?
Also Alabama.
No, what was the food?
The food, they had lots of really good seafood, oddly enough, because we were right by the coast.
Okay.
So I don't eat meat, but I do eat fish, so that's always what I get.
Gotcha. Favorite food?
I eat meat, but I don't eat fish, which is kind of funny. My favorite food would probably be, we were in Key Largo. We were at a seafood restaurant. I was just like, damn, there's nothing here for me. Oh, one sandwich, Cuban sandwich, which is just favorite sandwich I've ever had.
Stay with you. What's your favorite dessert that you had on the trip?
Favorite dessert would probably be the strawberry rhubarb that we had last night.
Oh.
It was...
And that was in New York City.
Oh my God, yeah, because in California you can't get strawberry rhubarb no matter what you do. It is.
We have something going on outside. What
Yeah.
is that? Oh, that's just some kind of port thing.
Boat mover.
It's the boat mover. Okay.
The sacred boat mover.
What's your favorite?
But yeah, strawberry rhubarb, it's the unicorn.
In New Jersey, we went to this really nice restaurant, and they had a molten lava cake, and it was really, really good. Because I'm a fan of dark chocolate, so it was really dark chocolate.
Stay with you. An activity you wish you can do more of as the trip goes on.
That's a hard one, because...
Like something that you've been doing that you want to do more of in another state.
I think Brayden knows.
What, so you're
I can
speaking for
answer.
Briana?
I can answer for her. Whitewater rafting, probably.
Whitewater rafting?
She loves that. Yeah. I would probably say roller coasters. I love roller coasters. These two get nauseous really quick, but I'd love to do more roller coasters.
An activity you wish you did less of as you go forward to the end of the trip.
Whitewater rafting. I'm not. I like it. I'm not too much of a fan. We've done it like 2 or 3 times. Really fun. Still kind of terrifies me though.
I am going to go the opposite route. I wish we stayed away from roller coasters and theme parks.
Okay. If you can snap your fingers and this amazing rig can fast forward to a certain place that you haven't been to yet, that you're looking forward to go to, where would that place be?
Where?
I'll snap it.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
I want to go back to the South.
Oklahoma's like the Midwest South, but that's okay.
Jeez, yeah.
But you like the South. That's interesting. Where would you go?
I'd probably say Michigan, because that's where like my best online friend is, and I'm really excited to meet him after like 2 years of knowing each other.
If we rewound the clock and you had the conversation and said, hey, we're going to go across the country, and you had a decision at that point to change something, what would be the one thing that you would change?
Stop in Tennessee.
Go first to Tennessee? Is that what you do?
Stop in Tennessee.
just
Go
stop.
through it, and then Tennessee, stop.
then stop.
And
Really?
stay in Tennessee, probably. I love Tennessee.
And you?
Well, there's the idea that instead of doing them all in 6 months, you could do a section in 6 months.
Oh, okay.
And then in the next 6 months, do a different section and take more like 1.5 years or 2 years to do it instead of 6 months. So we could spend a lot more time in the South at first, because that's my favorite place.
The last question for this pod here. You've had an unbelievable amount of time with your father to spend this time with that. Now, we're getting a little tired of him on the camera all the time, but, he's doing a good job. How has this experience been with you guys and your dad? I'll do individually. First Brandon, then Briana.
The fact that he has to like film everything and document everything, it's pretty annoying, but we completely understand that he has to do it. He kind of has to. And we're fine with it. It does get on our nerves a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal. We're fine with it.
Briana?
It is interesting, though, because I'm the total opposite. I do not film. I do not take pictures. I think I've taken 3 pictures on this trip, and 2 of them have been in the RV.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to say this as we wrap things up here with Briana and Brandon. I've got kids who are a little older than you, 21 and 19, and they've been watching this trip, and all they've been saying is this has got to be the best experience that that these two are having ever, and I hope that they appreciate it. I hope you guys do appreciate it because it's amazing. What a great time.
It is interesting, though. When we first started doing it, people lost their minds with how crazy it is. I didn't feel that at all because I've been doing crazy stuff my entire life.
You scale and jump off things a lot. That
I
seems to be a
love
theme.
that's my favorite thing. I love jumping off cliffs. But it's like this is probably like the craziest, most outrageous thing we've done, probably. But it's like doing crazy, outrageous things is what we do. So I never felt like this is too much or this is out of the blue. It's like, this is who we are.
Well, I mean, it's kind of weird. It's like at the beginning, everyone was like, "Oh, you're going to all the states? That's insane." Because we went from, went up to Las Vegas, went over through Arizona, went through New Mexico, and like we've already been to Vegas and Arizona, and New Mexico isn't exactly too much different. So we're like, okay, we've already done this before, and so we weren't like freaking out like, "Oh my god, this is insane." When we get to Texas, that's when we're like, "Oh my god, this is the best thing ever." Because like this isn't a trip. This is our lives for the next 3 months now. So it's like the 6 months our lives, and is by far the best experience ever. Like it is just phenomenal. Best part of my life so far ever.
Briana Pinvidic, Brandon Pinvidic, guys, truly a pleasure.
Close
You're
enough.
halfway home. And
Halfway home.
You're in the best city in the world. The rest of it is,
Allegedly.
Allegedly. That's
Allegedly.
what they say. Nah, we believe so. Anyway, thanks for coming on the program.
No
guys.
problem.
Happy to be here.
You got it. And to all our listeners out there, keep thriving onward and upward. And remember, be brief, be bright, be gone.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Check us out on the web at thriveloud.com and follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook at Thrive Loud. And check us out on the Good Pods app at Thrive Loud, where you can follow, listen, and connect directly to Lou and all of the Thrive Loud episodes. Thanks for listening.